Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And as you can see, I have so many books here, and finally this video has come, and I've been keeping it aside mainly due to lack of time and delays in shipment, etc. But finally, welcome to the book haul. After 1 year, I guess. I had promised one last year, but then again it couldn't happen. But here finally we are, and I'm so excited to start this video. December, when you wore this sweater that is drenched. So I have arranged them in no particular order by genre or anything. It is basically according to sizes, like the smallest book being here to the biggest book being there. So these are 10 books mainly out of all the books that I have had or read in the past 1 year or bought again. So I think it would be an interesting video because there are so many books that I haven't read and there are some books that I have read, and let's just get started with it. So the first book here is by Agatha Christie, and it's And Then There Were None. So basically my sister read this one first and she picked it out, and it was such a great book, and I can't summarize it without spoilers, but I wouldn't. So there are 10 strangers that were isolated in an island and invited, and one of the all of them start getting killed one by one, and people don't know who it is. So it's very interesting, and it is one of them. So it's always the blame game and things like that. So I really loved this book. It's such a page turner that you start reading it and you finish it. And the thing is that it has so many themes which are subtly embedded. Some of them you might not like, some I did not like, but others were very thought-provoking and indeed very mysterious, and it's a great book. I would recommend you to read it if you're a fan of mystery or just want something to bring you back to reading. This one would be the best one. So the second book is Kafka on the Shore by Mukrami. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So it's a translated book, and I really want to try out something from translated literature. And I have a bookmark. I haven't completed it, but then it was about Kafka Tamura who runs away from home at 15. And it is a very strange book, like many people have said. And the thing about it, it's very poetic in a certain way, and I really liked it. It has so many things which I felt were interesting, and some things that I really liked were the poetic way that brought out certain things. I don't remember specifically where it was, but then how the narrator is playing with the point of views and stuff like that, which really blew my mind because it was very interesting. And there was such a thing I really enjoy those kind of books which pick maybe a small thing, like a small detail, and then go on elaborating about that, and in such subtle ways, finally in the end of the book you might come to know what it was, or even if it wasn't, it was pointing out certain things, and then keep on bringing that theme again and again. I really like those kind of things which are very internally embedded and some things like that, and I really like this book so far. The thing is that I'm procrastinating on it and completing it because it's very long. It's beyond my concentration time. So the next book is again by Agatha Christie. It's Towards Zero, and I haven't read it yet. I haven't started it. Again, my sister's choice. She's a big fan of mystery, and even I am. And this is about the connection between a failed suicide attempt and a wrongful accusation of theft against a schoolgirl, and basically it revolves around that. So we just bought it because it comes after the And Then There Were None in the Agatha's list, and it is very interesting, so I can't wait to read it. Then there is the Poetry of Longfellow. So I have started reading it. Again, I'm not a person who goes, who does not, like, once Jack Edwards said that buying books and reading books are two different hobbies, and I completely agree with it. So I have read some of the poems from this book, and some of them are so beautiful. Like, it is such a great book, and the way the poetry is formatted is one of the things which I really enjoyed. And then moving on to the next book, it is On the Earth We Are Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Wong. And I have read this book, and I'm not a person who usually keeps tabs in books, but this is one of the books that tempted me to do so, and that itself tells a lot about the book. And I, like, in between I have been keeping these kind of pages and things because I'm truly against writing in books. But then this book was so gorgeous, if that's a word. Basically, it's about a young boy who writes letters to, his name is Little Dog, and in his late 20s he's writing these kind of letters to his own mother, but the mother doesn't knows English, so she cannot read. So it is very interesting, like some stories we often keep to ourselves, but writing this out, I felt, was like, a sneak into the author's life, and it was so gorgeously written. I can't say. Like, Ocean Wong is an immigrant, and I understand how it would have been hard for him to get adjusted to English, but I really like this one comment on his book, which is Wong has taken the English he acquired with difficulty not only to make it his own, he's made it even better, which is completely true with this book. It explores so great themes about race, class, masculinity, and like the current condition of America at the moment. And I think it has like themes of violence, trauma, and but these kind of things are really, the way it is written is just mind-blowing. I really like it. And if I could share one thing from this book, I can't, but one of the few things that I really liked was Ocean starts with, like, a chapter begins with a theme, like I said before, and then he beautifully sews it into the entire chapter. Like, I can't, it's so beautiful, like the way he subtly shares these themes, and he picks a theme, like, like this chapter which started was with monarch butterflies, and it kept on occurring throughout the book. And the best thing was he has added something to it. Like, I have seen so many books with just state information, like, this is my favorite movie, this is something I like, and that really annoys me because I don't want to know what you like or dislike. Like, I want to know what you think about it. And the way Wong does it is really different. It's very, very compelling, and this was one of the books that I read this year which broke my heart, but then I think it was worth the pain. If I could read one thing out of this book to you, it would be, you once told me that the human eye is the God's loneliest creation, how so much of the world passes through the pupil and still holds nothing. The eye alone in its socket doesn't know there's another one just like it, an inch away, just as hungry and as empty. And I really like this line. Like, I think this can be a metaphor for mental health as well. Like, both eyes don't know each other, and this is so beautiful thing to say, because I have read the entire book and I can see it happening, but still I can't hold anything to myself, which is such a gorgeous way to start a book. And I have written so many things which I felt were amazing about this, and the way he describes it, it's just so heartwarming, and few places it is so relatable for me. Like, I haven't read a book that is so relatable, and it describes certain things in a way I did not expect a book to include such little things, like going to the mall and like just normal things, but the monotonous, but in a such a beautiful way. Like, poetry is it's just making his own, like the comment said, like making English his own and making it better. And one thing I really liked was it was so flowy, and it did not feel like, the chapter ended and it started. But one thing which I did not like about this book is that it wasn't a page turner. Like, you could read it in your leisure, but you really needed motivation to finish it through. I know a lot of people have that problem, and with this it wasn't like you're curious to know what happens in the end. It's more like getting connected to the story first in the first half, and then you'll be rooting for the characters that you have read. So that was something that I felt was a little bit off, but otherwise it's one of the best books I have ever read. Now moving on to the next book, which is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, and I haven't read this book again. My sister has, and she really suggests me to read it, and I hope I can finish this summer. Hopefully. And it's a great book. Like, it deals with some of the things which were brought up during Black Lives Matter movement, and it is a great book. I have heard about it a lot, and I'm waiting to read it. And I think that is very interesting because after this book was published like a little before the Black Lives Matter movement, and I think the author does a great job at bringing these themes and writing the book. Like, in general, I really admire female authors from the BIPOC community, and I really want to support them as well. This is book which is called We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I hope I'm pronouncing that right again. So this is called We Were Liars, and I have read it. So it's an interesting book. I feel like, it was one of those books that was not a page turner, but you were curious to know what happens in the end, and I think the ending mattered to the rest of the plot in the book. It was a little confusing in the start, but I feel like once you get a hold of it, it was good. Like, it's a book that I would be giving like 3 to 4 stars, somewhere in between, because it was a little confusing, and I felt the ending was not really something that I would like. Like, it was okay book. Like, I wouldn't say it was the best. The writing was decent, and I feel like there could have been a lot more themes explored. One thing which I really disliked about the book, which a lot of people like, is some things that, introducing some themes but not getting anywhere with it in the end of the book. Basically that, like, with the ending they have right now, they did not fully explore all the themes that they began with. And that is something that I find really annoying in books, because there could have been a lot of other things that could have happened, but that is that. So the next book is, I'll put this file here. The next book is City of Jasmine by Ogla, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So this is a very heartbreaking book, and it's not like a mainstream book or something that I have heard people talk about. It's not like, everyone knows this book exists, and it's about war in Syria, and it's about the lives of 3 people and their chapters intertwined, and one of the Germany's most talented library voices. This was intricately woven with the stories of brutality, loss, and how hope can shine through when darkness feels overwhelming. And this was such a heartbreaking book. I have kept tabs in it again, and it's not because I couldn't, I really hate underlining in books. That was one of the reasons, but few places this book was just so heartbreaking to me. In the time I read it, I was, there are some books that after reading you feel hit close to your heart and home, that you keep thinking about them for a couple of days or so, and this book was one of those. Few descriptions in this are just, giving you chills type of thing. I haven't heard anyone discuss about this book except me and my sister, and I think it is one of those books, which should be appreciated a little more. Like, it's very underrated, and I love the cover. That's one thing that, like the blue and pink, and that is one of the ironies about the book. The book is very heartbreaking, and it's about a war and how people survive through it, and it's very ironic to it, because the cover is so beautiful that I really love the cover and would love to keep it on my shelf. But the stories here are just so good, and it is something that you should read. Like, I would recommend you to read. It's not a waste of time. It's just so good to get to know something. And since it happened like very recently, it was very much, we don't really think about how it impacted someone's life, but it's good to read about those and get yourself educated about it. And the next book is The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters. Again, I have not read this book. I have to read this book, but again, it's a very long one and I don't think I have the time or energy to go through it. But then this one is very interesting. It's kind of like a psychological thriller, again said by my sister, and the thing about it is that it has a great ending. I know that. I don't know a lot about the story, but it's very interesting, and it's not kind of like a mystery thing, but then people have put this in horror and like a thriller kind of thing. So it's a good read. I think I would read it, but I don't have a lot of hopes because it's a long book and it's a slow paced book, so that is one thing which is not great for me. So our last book for today, it's very beautiful book, Wuthering Heights, and it's by Emily Bronte, and if you can see, it has like a purple thing to the pages. It's such a gorgeous book, like the back thing, and I really like this thing about the book. It had so many beautiful pages, like I have started reading it and I am really interested by the book. And there's not a lot to say because this is a classic and a lot of people know about it. So yeah, but the bind and the book, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Like the purple thing it was really interesting to me because once you put it in a bookshelf, it has the color showing to it and even on the top. So it's a very beautiful book and I can't wait to finish it. So just a quick thing which I'm doing about covers. I have forgot that I did not discuss about the first book's covers. So this book cover was really mysterious to me, and I think there is a show based on it, adaptation. So a mysterious cover, a very dark color used. I think black really tells about the horror and thriller kind of thing, so interesting choice. City of Jasmine, beautiful cover. I love it. I love both the colors. The sky blue and the lightest shade of pink just blending in. It has such a beautiful cover. But again, the story, it's irony. And then We Were Liars. They have like, three people playing kind of thing in water, and I think I know that it connects to the story. And even on the back, it continues the same thing. It connects to the story, but I think it would have, when I first saw the book cover, I thought it was about something else. So not really guessable thing, but love the title in golden. Great book. And then The Hate You Give. This is such an interesting cover because the girl holding it on the page, she holds it like a protest sign. And since this book deals with all those themes, it was very interesting. And it is very, a plain white cover. Speaks a lot for itself and the issues it's covering. Ocean Vuong's book On the Earth We Are Briefly Gorgeous. It has like a inner page which is like extension of it, which is very beautiful, and the cover it was very soft kind of thing when I first got it, and it is about war, so the black and white really goes with it. And there is one other cover I think with golden and very much beautiful one, I think the UK cover, but I really like this one because it's black and white and I think it really covers the theme which are covered in this book. And both otherwise itself the poetry is gorgeous, so no complaints about that. Then and then we have the remaining books. This was very interesting, like the green leaves continuing, and it's even on back of the page, so that looks very beautiful, and it has like a between thing and it's in green, so very interesting choice. Towards Zero, and I have heard about this, the cover, the O being the red coming here, it's very interesting choice because I think it is about a tennis player. So the O with the tennis ball and the tennis player on the cover, it's very interesting and it's a great choice, like a good cover. And then Kafka on the Shore, it has like a cat thing and a half face, which is also again interesting. Black cover speaks a lot for the theme, and then it is about the strange world, and I see how both of them could be integrating into something throughout the book, and it is the case in this one. And then There Were None, beautiful book. And if I had done this thing with counting the people on the cover, and if you do, it is 10 people, like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Interesting thing because there are 10 people in this book, and then they start getting killed one by one, and interesting choice. Like, and then There Were None is in different textures, and it's a very interesting title as well, since it covers a lot of things in the book. Like, it speaks for itself. Very interesting book and great cover. So thank you all for watching my books haul. I really hoped you enjoyed it. If so, let me know down in the comment section about one book that you want to read but can't get to read, and if there's any book cover you enjoy, because I really sometimes I judge book by its cover and how beautiful it is. So do let me know that, and thank you so much for watching. Please check out all my links and socials down below. Thank you.